Okay, today's video we're going to talk about a landing page form optimization hack. It can get you 20 to 200% more sales from the same exact ad traffic you have going to your landing pages right now. This technique has to do with the adding a form confirmation dialog box to your landing page so that when somebody submits the form on your landing page, they're going to get a box that shows up. I'm sure you've seen these before, but what most people don't do is utilize this opportunity, because it is what it is, to actually get more from a prospect that they already now paid for than what they already have already. It'll say like, thank you very much for contacting us. But what they should do instead is asking people to take the next step forward. In the past, we've done things like, hey, check out our case studies or whatever. And it gets them a chance to go into the site deeper so that they stop what they're doing and not go back to Google and contact 3 or 4 other people, which many people do, which is what hurts your ROI from your campaign. But no, it's not what I'm talking about in this case, which that certainly is better than nothing and would help you. What I'm talking about in this particular video is asking people to schedule an appointment right away. I even did this for our own firm before we kind of found out once we started doing that, we're getting people to commit to an appointment that weren't qualified to speak to, that kind of thing. But for the typical roofer that types in roofing services on Google, gets to your landing page, submits a form, what most people do is they have trouble monetizing those form leads because they don't have a really refined sales process set up. And if they simply took the step of asking the person when they want the company to call them, they'd end up with tons more sales. And that's exactly what we verified through working with the roofer, but also an outsourced CFO agency where you can buy fractional CFO services, of which can also certainly work for you as well if you got a form on your landing page and driving traffic to a landing page right now. So with that said, I'm going to go through what the details are of that, how you actually set that up, why, and more importantly, why it works. You understand why you want to be doing this for your brand already. So with that said, as mentioned, if you have a landing page with a contact form on it, what the process is, that's going to actually get you the 20 to 200% more sales and profit from the same exact traffic you have coming to your site right now, basically free money, is you're going to get people to submit that form, and then you're going to have a form dialog box, like a pop-up. You actually could take them to a separate page on your website, like redirect them to a separate page if you want to. Some people, based upon how their website is set up, they'll do that because it's not easy using the website tool that they have to have an actual dialog box. We use Unbound, so it's easy to have a dialog box pop up. And actually, if you have the option, you always want to keep them on the landing page because the experience is more cohesive if you just keep them there and then do a pop-up box. Therefore, you're going to make more money, a little bit more money that way. But you say on that dialog box, okay, whether it's pop-up or a separate page because you're forced to do that, you say select time you would like us to call, okay? And then on top of that, what you want to do is have like a little calendar app that can pop up that will allow you to have them select the time, okay? You can easily do this with Google Calendar and have it so that your calendar that you have that, or Calendly would be another one, is a popular service out there, where people can see all the times that your salespeople have available, if you will, that's constantly updating in real time, and so that they get the most current times available, and that's to actually themselves commit to a time there itself, and that's what you do on your dialog box. Not everybody, obviously is going to fill this out, but if you have the opportunity to get them to do another action, going back to what I was saying before, why don't you do that? Because you aren't losing anything if they don't do it, and if they do it, they're statistically more likely to convert into a sale because they're now a little bit more involved in the process. They're going to remember you more because they spent more time with you at that point in time, and they're less likely to have had energy, if you will, to go back and contact more people. So with that said, what happens is you get them to book the time. It goes into your calendar app. You then are going to use an app to automatically text people, email people, call people using an automated calling service. That person reminding them several times, or over and over again if you want to phrase it that way, about what they committed to. Because ultimately what happens here, and a lot of people don't think this through. Yes, on Google, if somebody's typing in, cleaning services near me, and they go to a landing page to fill out the form, you're not the only person that they're going to contact. They're going to go back to Google, they're going to, fill out the form at 3 or 4 or 5 other places, and then what happens is the first person they talk to is the first person that gets the job. Or they'll contact 10 of them to compensate because they think certain people won't get back to them, and the first 2 or 3 that they get a quote from is the people they'll get a quote from, and the rest they'll ignore after that because they only wanted 3 quotes. Because lots of people behave like that in a lot of different markets, you getting them to commit to a time and then using through SMS text messages, several reminders saying what time that they're going to be able to, that you're going to call them, and through emails, and through automated calls, it's going to say, basically what happens is you don't bug the crap out of them. What you do is you send them an email. You can be more aggressive with email because it's not, people don't see it the same way, but you send them an email and a text right away, and then an hour before they get an email and a text, 15 minutes before they get an email and a text, at the time they're supposed to call, they get an email and a text, which if you want a good example of a parallel place where people do this a lot and shows why, and everybody in that space does it, showing how much difference it makes to get people to actually show up. That is, in the webinar space, anybody who runs a webinar, you sign up for any webinar anywhere, almost guaranteed you're going to start getting all these notifications, and it's literally that's kind of a sequence right away. 3 days, and even they'll go further, like 3 days before, 1 day before, 4 hours before, 1 hour before. Why? Because it increases the likelihood that they're going to show up for every single one of those that they do, because the repetition of it, it's not that they forget per se, but the repetition of it gets them to mentally commit more and more the more messages that they see, basically. So, and there's an app that can easily do this, because I know what you're saying, like how do you do that? And it's there's many apps that do it. Apptoto is one app that I would recommend for this, that's going to be able to send out the timed messages. So all you got to do is once you get you sync your calendar up to the Apptoto app, you're going to be able to send those messages out automatically. And then, of course, with that, you're good. It all does it for you in the background. What you're going to do, though, is you're going to use Google Meet. Instead of using Zoom to meet with the person, I recommend Google Meet. Why? Because Google Meet doesn't require the user to download any software to do the meeting with you, the video call. People hate downloading software in general to do these meets, which I don't know why everybody isn't switching to Google Meet because of that sole reason, particularly older individuals. If you need to sell to somebody that's like over 65, forget about them downloading the Zoom app. And of course, yes, there's technically a way that you can do it via the online, via your web browser still, but it's not obvious. Google Meet, that's the default way. It's through the web browser, through a tab, and therefore you'll get high compliance rates. The compliance rates, the higher they are in terms of actually going to the video call, the more likely you are going to sell to them. Given that a video call versus a regular call, you're going to build up a higher level of trust and rapport with that user because more of their senses are involved. And you're just thinking about it, going back to what I was saying before, if there's 3 or 4 or 5 companies that they're contacting to get quotes from, and you're the only company that you had a face-to-face with that user, assuming that salesperson's worth their money, you're going to get that sale a majority of the time now, which is why you want to go ahead and do this, let alone the fact that all of these messages that get fired out to them once they pick the time, that gets more conversion rates on the leads you got. And the fact that they stayed on your landing page longer because you asked them to book a time. You also get higher conversion rates on the leads you have because you have the video rapport, building rapport through video itself as an element. So all these things is what actually leads up to the massive increase in lead closing rates you're going to get through adding this general mechanism to your overall sales process. And naturally with Google Voice, if they don't want to do a video call, they can always do a call by itself and let them decide whether they're going to do a call or going to add it to a video call. My recommendation, if you want to get the fullest bang for your buck out of this system, out of this method, you instruct your salespeople to get them on the call, and then you tell them right away, hey, this is actually supposed to be a video call, I'd appreciate it if you, I'll text you a link on your cell phone, and just click that link, and then we'll do an actual video call. If you don't want to, that's fine, but I have some stuff I want to show you, and of course through that you could do screen sharing and show different things there, and that is fantastic for closing sales. Video, the combination of face-to-face video and then being able to show them diagrams and examples of different customers that have gotten this service before and stuff like that crushes it. That should be your goal, to do all of this if you're going to take my advice and go out and actually use this information to your advantage today. But that's the system in a nutshell right there. Now, I mentioned that we had done this for several people already, of which a couple of different case studies and examples I was going to give you on today's video, one of which being an outsourced CFO service, one of which being a roofer, which we actually started the method out with in itself, okay? So I'll start with the roofer. So this whole system was put into place. We did all the individual components. They tried as best as they could to get the person on a video call. Within the video call, they did some screen sharing a little bit. They were able to talk to that person, and that person was able to show them the roof a little bit in terms of if they could show them the roof during that call, that is to show it to the salesperson through that call. And they got a 94% increase in closing rate on the same number of form leads that from what they had before to after they instituted this method in their business, showing how much of a difference this makes. Now, I will admit, the biggest problem why people don't close enough of their form leads as compared to like their phone calls is there's an extra step there. On a regular phone call, of course you could screw it up and then not actually talk to the person, but the form lead requires you to actually get the contact. You have to be able to reach the form lead after they fill out the form. Basically, you'd be much better, you'd make even more money. If you want to make the most money, what you do, call people within 15 minutes at the very least, and the very, very best is you call people within 60 seconds of filling out the form lead, which I know it seems like it's contradictory to like what the consumer would like and might be annoyed by. And the fact of the matter is, they're super impressed when you call them back within 60 seconds that they actually take notice. It really is impressive. I think it's really impressive myself. If I'm going to go and contact a new specialized lawyer, if somebody's going to call me within 60 seconds, and I know what you're saying, well, how the hell do you even manage that, Corey? That just sounds crazy to me. And it's not, because there's also apps where you can have it to where somebody fills out the form, you'll get a call right away on your pre-designated number, like whatever your sales team's number is that you need to call and route calls through. They'll get a call and it'll say like, John Smith just filled out the contact form on your landing page. Would you like to call John Smith? You can hit 1 if you want to contact John Smith right away. You hit 1 and it automatically calls that person who filled out the form and puts that salesperson answering the sales calls on the in touch with that user immediately. And so you legitimately can not only make it possible to contact every form lead within 60 seconds, which, like going back to what I was saying before, stops them from like going back to Google and contacting somebody else, which therefore is going to skyrocket your closing rates because of that alone. But it actually enforces the salespeople to contact people within 60 seconds, because it's one thing to say every form lead needs to be answered within 15 minutes. This forces it because it's easy to be able to see if your salespeople have been picking up the phone or not, and you could just tell your sales manager, hey, if anybody's not answering the phone during working hours, their ass is grass. And if they answer the phone, of course, any form lead would have had to, through that system, call them, and then you would know basically if they were really answering form leads within 15 minutes, if you follow me. Because it's pretty hard to, it's not impossible, but it's hard to know if somebody's answered a form lead within 15 minutes, because you'd have to go look at the form leads and then the call, you know what I'm saying, versus form leads automatically turning into a call. You'll know if a call was answered or not just by looking at your phone systems right away, if you follow me. So now that said, if you are not going to use that system, and you're just going to go with my advice today, which you ask them to book a time right away with the salesperson effectively, if you can do it, highly, highly recommend, do not let the person book a time the same day, but certainly not more than 48 hours. Why? Because they're going back to what I was saying before again, probably they've contacted 2 or 3 people between the time that they fill out your form and you know, like 3, 4, 5 days from now, that it's so far in the future that the likelihood that they haven't contacted 3 other people to get 3 other quotes that they were looking for is very low, that you basically aren't going to get any benefit out of the system. So with your Google Calendar, try to book everything up so that they only can book something within 48 hours and hopefully within 24 hours. 24 hours is tough because a lot of people aren't going to be able to like have a time that day. But so if you give them 2 days, they'll be able to find a time, assuming that whatever service they're inquiring about it actually is important to them, or product if you're talking about product. But that would be my other main tip to give to you there as well. So anyway, that is the landing page form optimization hack that I wanted to give you in today's video. Like I said, form dialog boxes or confirmation boxes are very underutilized, and people don't do hardly anything with them at all to get that user more engaged, and with the important thing being stopping them from going back to Google or whatnot, or going back to what they were doing and looking for another provider, whereas you could stop them in their tracks and therefore greatly increase your closing rates if you were to do that. But more importantly, just get them on the phone in general, because you know the average contact rate of a form lead nowadays for the average person is like 30% of the form leads that they get, they can actually talk to the person, and that will make or break your campaign. So mainly because when you call people up, particularly if it's not within 15 minutes, they'll see the number on their cell phone and they'll say, I don't know who that is, I'm not answering it. And that's the death of your PPC campaign when that happens, when they actually book a time, which that higher level of engagement makes them more likely to remember you, and when your name shows up on the caller ID, they know who you are, and therefore also probably want to talk to you. But when you have all that micro follow-up, they're not going to forget who you are once that, you know, that thing that says you have a meeting right now, and therefore they'll be more likely to show up for it, if you will. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully this video made a lot of sense, and hopefully that you go out there and actually use it so you actually get this big benefit for your company and for your brand. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, or any other ad related question, because this channel is all about how to make millions of dollars with advertising for your business, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment in the comment section, typically within 24 hours. And I can use my 15 years of ad experience to give you the information you need to be able to move forward with what you're doing. I love doing that just as a thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. As a side, if you're looking for the best information you can find online on how to make millions of dollars running ads for your business, this is the channel you want to pay attention to and subscribe. So, and the main reason for that being is most of the information that you're going to find online is going to be secondhand information. People that don't actually run ads, they run a firm, but they don't actually do the client work, or they just are making money off of courses. They don't actually run ads, at least on a large scale basis, where they're managing dozens of ad accounts to actually get a feel of, on a general basis, what works and what doesn't work. Therefore, the information sucks and it's worthless, whereas that's exactly what I do at my firm. I just do ad strategy for our clients. We have dozens of clients, and I manage 100+ different ad accounts to know exactly what works and what doesn't work on a generalized basis for our clients to guarantee the results, which we have to do to get paid at our firm, of which I give to you on a silver platter on this channel. So if you want to know, if anybody that has the real information, this is the information you want, and therefore you should subscribe, and you should do it right now so you don't lose contact and forget about this channel. I also have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog where you can find other information from myself on actual step-by-step strategies you can use to make money with screenshots, with all that. So whereas I have like a talking style form of content on this channel, you can find actual visuals and case studies and all that with the methods that I use on my blog. If you like my channel, you'll love my blog even more. It's even more valuable as per what most people find. I mentioned that I run an ad agency here where we actually guarantee results for clients, and that's actually true. If our clients do not make more profit from their campaigns than before we start with them, then there is no fee that we charge our client. And the only catch is we got to know up front we can get great results for that client, and therefore we don't just take any client on. But if you want to see if you can be one of our clients and we can work with you, reach out to my firm at guaranteeppc.com. I'd be happy to look over your stuff and try to assess how much results we could get for your campaigns, short, medium, and long term. And then with that, you'd basically, hopefully be able to, work with us long-term at our company and get you a lot of results, all basically on autopilot, as to that's what we do for clients at our firm here. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. Maybe we can work together as a side. If you're not looking to work with a traditional ad agency like what we have here, I understand if you want to manage your own ads. However, if we've worked in your niche market before, you can use everything we've developed for your market in terms of ads, landing pages, all of it, for you to copy and paste, literally speaking, the results we've got in your niche market in a different geographic area, different city, different country, whatever, into your ad account and get the same exact results that we had to spend years building up to get to the level of results of making millions of dollars in your market already, with none of the time, none of the money, none of the effort to figure it all out that we had to figure out. And you're certainly not going to save time or money doing it all yourself when we've already got the winning format, the winning version of all of it that you can use. And so we've got these templates are actually so good. We got people using these templates to start other businesses. If you want to start an e-commerce business that's almost guaranteed to be profitable right away, take our template that works for one of the markets that we've been in already. You know, if you're in a different country than our client, then you can use it there, and it's just turnkey, you know, basically profits, given the ads are already refined enough that we know exactly what works to sell that product and what doesn't. And we've worked in, by the way, in over hundreds of niche markets now in the last 10 years of running our agency. So the chances are high we've worked in your market and have a lot of different campaign templates that work in a lot of different markets, of which we can tell you the results you're going to get with the template before you would ever purchase it from us. Anyway, if you're interested in that type of opportunity, we also have been selling those templates as well. It's been very popular in the recent past. But with that said, you can definitely reach out to us at guaranteeppc.com to ask and inquire about what markets we've worked in and what results we've gotten in those markets. But I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.